how much sugar is there in our everyday breakfast items. Now, I'm not talking about the ones that we freshly cook at home, but I'm talking about the breakfasts that come pre-prepared or packaged items. So what we are going to do today is we're going to rank these pre-packaged breakfast items from 10 to 1. So out of all these that I'm going to talk about, let's see which one is the worst breakfast that has the most sugar in it. And also let's see if your favorite breakfast item is in the list. So let's get into these everyday breakfast items that are nothing but just sugar. Now, according to the WHO or the World Health Organization, we can have around 25 grams of sugar per day. Now, this recommendation is given by them is so that we can prevent a lot of non-communicable diseases like your type 2 diabetes, your cardiovascular diseases, and also it helps you to promote your health. And if you just think about 25 grams, it's nothing but 6 teaspoons of sugar. I think I've been eating more than that for breakfast. Now, at number 10, being one of the most sugar present in your breakfast is your pancake premix. Now, if you make pancakes out of Betty Crocker's, which is one of the famous brands, and you make 3 to 4 pancakes around it, just those 3 to 4 pancakes will have around 5 to 7 grams of sugar in it. Well, but if you look at 5 to 7 grams of sugar is honestly not that bad. So now the question is that why does it even top the list? Now, we don't ever have our pancakes without an add-on, and the add-ons are what really make those pancakes high in sugar. Now, let's say that you drizzle a little honey on your pancakes. Now, that 1 teaspoon of honey has very easily around 5 to 6 grams of sugar in it. And if you're someone very generous and you like each pancake to be drizzled with that honey, then well, you're having very easily around 3 to 8 grams of sugar per pancake. The total sugar from the pancake premix and the sugar that you've added on from the honey is very easily around 8 to 27 grams of it. And most of your pancake brands will also be pretty much on the similar lines, but overall it's all quite like candy. And if you really want to have your pancakes, then well, just do one simple thing is just try to avoid the toppings like your honey and maple syrup and those chocolate spreads. All you can do is just add in some fruit so that it gives you that slight sweetness. So just go with fruits or berries if you like. Now at number 9 we have muesli. Now if you look at muesli, most of what is there in it is actually good. Then why does it even come in the list of top 10? Now let's take this brand for example, and all you see that it has just around 6 grams of sugar per 100 grams. And a serving size that they recommend is around 30 grams, which has just around 2 grams of sugar in it. Now, I don't think that's bad at all, but I don't know who really eats 30 grams. So we look at something like this and we feel like, oh wait, muesli is healthy, so let me just go for the flavored one. Aha, now that is where the problem is. So if you look at same muesli but a chocolate flavored one just like this, thinking that it's healthy, it has around 24 grams of sugar in just 100 grams of your muesli. And most people, I'm sure, don't even go for the 30 grams of serving that they recommend. So basically muesli is actually healthy, but the thing is that if you go for the flavored ones, they are not healthy, and that's why it comes on the list. And if you feel like having muesli, just go for the ones that do not have sugar added to it. So while buying, just make sure that you look behind or you look at the label that says no sugar added. Now at number 8 is your biscuits. Now, if you take your most famous biscuits, which are your Parle-G and your Vita Marie, these are the most loved biscuits in India. And for the longest I can think of, these biscuits have a standard taste and they haven't changed even in taste. And many people for their breakfast, whether they are hungry or not, they sometimes just go for these biscuits. And these biscuits are something that you should not even start your day with. Now, a Parle-G and a Marie biscuit very easily have around 8 grams of sugar just for 4 biscuits. That's why if you consume or eat your Parle-G with your tea, you don't really get the taste of the tea, is because your Parle-G has quite a lot of sugar in it, which is very easily around 1 to 2 grams of sugar per biscuit. And most biscuit brands in this range are quite similar to this. And if you really want to have something, well, I would say don't go with biscuits because most biscuits aren't really as healthy as you think. Now at number 7, we have these very famous drinks that are considered to be healthy. Now if you look at something as maybe Bonvita or even Protein X powder or even those Horlicks for women, most of them just for a simple serving size, or even if you take 2 tablespoons of them, they very easily have around 8 to 10 grams of sugar in it. So in one way you might think that, oh wait, my bones are going to get stronger and I'm going to get a lot of vitamins and minerals. But on the other end, the complete opposite is going to happen because we know what sugar can possibly do to our health. And if you're worried about your calcium or your vitamins and minerals, or even if it's your protein, well, there are tons of other ways that you can get them. But just try and stay away from these powders because mostly they are nothing but just sugar. Now at number 6, some of us really love it, and that is ketchup. ketchup. Now, you could start your day with multiple different types of breakfast, like maybe eggs or even breakfast wraps or even some sandwiches. But a simple sachet like this can change everything. Now, what I have in my hand is a ketchup sachet, and that is from Viva. And if you just look at tiny sachet as this, which is just 8 grams. Now, this itself has around 3 grams of sugar just in this tiny 8-gram sachet. And most of us, when we take ketchup, we consume a little more than 16 grams of your ketchup. And even though 6 or 9 grams of sugar from this ketchup might not really sound like much, but they also have a lot of hidden sugars in them. So they might have things that they don't really need to mention on their nutritional label or just show them as sugar. And what you can do is just try and have all your breakfast items without ketchup, or just try and avoid ketchup completely, because it will just make your breakfast much more healthier and you'll stay away from sugar at the same time. Now, at number 5 is your coffee sachets. Now, if you're like, what? Now, I know that morning coffee is something that most of us really cannot start our day without. But coffee is not bad. I'm talking about the coffees that come pre-mixed. Now, just one sachet of a premix like a Nescafe cappuccino can easily have around 10 grams of sugar in just that. Now, if you've consumed one in the day and one in the evening, you've already consumed around 20 grams of sugar just by 2 sachets. And even other brands similarly have quite the similar amount of sugar in these premixes. And the reason with these premixes is that they have a lot of sugar in them, and that's why they taste so good. But it's better that you make your coffee on your own and add your sugar by yourself, so that you have control over how much sugar goes in your coffee. Now, at number 4 is your cornflakes. Cornflakes, as compared to muesli, is not really as healthy. And if you go for flavored cornflakes, it very easily has around 9 grams of sugar just for 30 grams of serving, which I don't think anyone really follows. So if you go for a 60 gram of serving, which is ideally what most people go with, you easily have very closely around more than 17 grams of sugar just in that bowl. And what they do is they also add in a lot of hidden sugars, which they don't really need to mention on the nutritional label. So even if you're going for something like the Special K, you're easily still having around 7 grams of sugar even in that. So I would say that try and stay away from all the type of cornflakes. And even most of the brands equivalent to your Kellogg's also have very similar sugar content in it, so it doesn't really make a difference whether you try one or the other. And if you're going for things like your Chocos or something more chocolatey, well, that's going to even have higher levels of sugar. So if you really want to have something, I would say just try and stick to oats or try and stick to muesli without sugar. Now, at number 3, and this is going to seem surprising, but it is your protein bar. Now, if you look at this protein bar, which is your max protein bar, it has around 11 grams of sugar per bar. So most of the time you think that, wait, I'm getting protein because it's a protein bar, but with that you're getting a lot of sugar, which none of us really realize. Now, if you look at the nutritional label of this max protein, which I've just taken as a sample, you can just look at the ingredients and you can see so many hidden sugars in it, which I don't think most of us even know that they are hidden sugars. And it's not just that, even granola bars have quite the similar amount of sugar in it. So it doesn't matter which brand it is, but even if I take one brand here, like Nature's Valley, it's pretty much on the similar lines when it comes to the sugar content, which is around 7 to 12 grams of sugar. Now we come to the top 2 spots, and the one that is on number 2 is your fruit juice or something like an orange juice. Now, you might think that fruit juice is healthy, but ideally fruit juices are not. And especially the ones that you get in those pre-packaged items, which is like your real fruit juice or your Tropicana orange juice. None of them are really healthy. All of them are typically just sugar bombs. And something as simple as a real fruit juice, just one glass of around 200 to 240 ml of it will easily have around 22 to 26 grams of sugar. But the reason people think that it's healthy because they're very well marketed. They show it also in movies and series where everyone's really at the breakfast table and they're always either having orange juice, where they subtly try to show these items where people believe that they are actually good for health. But in the real world, they are not. And the thing with these fruit juices, it's not just the sugar that they have, but it's also a lot of preservatives to keep it for a lot of shelf life. So basically, you're getting no nutrients, you're getting a lot of sugar, and you're getting a lot of preservatives. And none of this is really healthy. And apart from that, if you generally feel like having a fruit juice, just try to freshly make it and try to add a lot of its pulp, because that will help your body absorb a lot of nutrients from that fruit. And not just that, you'll also not really get preservatives in it. So it's a much better option, but if you can, just try and avoid fruit juice altogether. But if you like it, then why not? But just go for the fresh fruit juice option. And now, topping the list at number 1 are 2 items, and that is one of the most favorite, which is your Nutella and your jam. Like just 2 tablespoons of Nutella can easily have around 16 to 21 grams of sugar, and even just one single tablespoon of your jam can have 10 to 12 grams of sugar. And the reason why they top the table when it comes to sugar content is because compared to the other foods, they have no nutritional value. But if you're wondering that, wait, jam is made of mixed fruits, so that should be healthy, right? Well, the only reason that it's unhealthy is because when you take a fruit and make it into a jam, it goes into so much processing that by the time it reaches the end product, it's just basically sugar. And most of these are marketed as very healthy breakfast to give you all the energy that you need. And what they mean by energy is to just give you a lot of sugar. And if you generally have anything with sugar, you will have a lot of energy. And not just that, they are so versatile because you can use them with bread, you can use them with chapati, you can use them with so many other items, including your pancakes, that they market it very well as being healthy. So even though we think that it might be giving us a lot of nutrients, that's why the energy, but ideally it's not. So well, these are the top 10 high sugary foods that you should try and avoid as much as you can. But if you have any other food item that you feel should also be added to this list, let me know in the comments. And until we meet again next, don't stress and be awesome. Rocher that.